Hello everyone, welcome to Hot Seat. I'm Omid Moghaddas joining you from Tehran. And once again, I'm so grateful to be with you all from this educational platform. I hope all of you are well, wherever you are around the world. And I hope that you enjoy our sessions every week, that we try to bring the best in the field of implant dentistry, prosthodontics, periodontics, oral maxillofacial surgery to you guys at your home, and try to bring the level in the highest way possible by having the chance to talk to great practitioners and lecturers from around the world. And today I have a very special friend joining me from Italy. Diego Lops is here with us. Hello, Diego. Welcome to Hot Seat. And I'm so happy that I'm hosting you tonight.
Hello, my friend. I'm so grateful for your kind invitation, and I hope to share our colleague around the world some kind of experience and some kind of approach that actually we cannot anymore in a modern world. So it's a modern also for our professionals. So let's share together, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Can I share the video?
No, before you start to sharing, I would like to talk about the topic that you will present for our audience tonight. And it's about a global approach to complex smiles. We will talk about diagnosis, we'll talk about surgery, PROSTHO aspects, and follow-up. I think it will be very interesting for all the audience, and we can go through a case presentation and learn so many steps. And definitely, as a traditional format, we will have the lecture, and at the end of the presentation, we will have a discussion on the topic. So before we start, I would like before we start, I would like to have Diego's CV for all of you. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with him, but as a tradition, first I would like to have his CV, and then I will shorten my speech. We will straight go to the presentation, and then we will wait for the final discussion at the end. He received the doctor in dentistry in 2001 and also postgraduated on advanced oral surgery and maxillary reconstructive techniques at the University of Paris. He's now the assistant professor for the Italian Ministry of University and assistant professor, Department of Prosthodontics, Dental Clinic, University of Milan, also associate visiting professor at the University of Shanghai, and he has more than 34 publications on international peer-reviewed journals and so many other great achievements by him, which it was too much, so I briefly announced it for the audience. And Diego, we are ready for your beautiful presentation, and you can start sharing your screen, and the platform is all yours, my friend.
Thank you, Omid, for the so kind presentation. And before starting talking about this topic, I would like to share with you and the colleagues the chance to think globally to the approach to complex cases especially in high demanding areas. This is only an example. I choose an example of a complex case in order to share with you which kind of approach we can have in a modern era nowadays. So let's go to the presentation. This is me. This is what I want to share with you. I want to talk with you as talking about recipes, because to have an aesthetic outcome in our treatment cases for complex cases, we need to talk about a list of parameters that can be like a recipe in order to include all the steps we need to follow in order to be predictable, especially in high demanding areas. I want to share with you an example. This young girl named Hillary was calling me to ask for the treatment of her smile. But actually, she wanted only the treatment of a central incisor. Please, doctor, help me to restore my left central incisor. And this is what initially I can share with her when I shooted the first picture. And immediately I saw that the problem of this young girl is not probably only the central incisor, the left central incisor, because this is how this young girl displayed. So, what is the problem? The problem is that so many times our colleague immediately start talking about the treatment of the single gap, the single problem, without taking into account the global sense of a smile, the global smiling, the global displaying of the parabola, of the gingival architecture of all the smile line, not only the single gap. And this makes the difference. Also, when we talk about the problem of the patient, with the patient itself. So this is how she displays. But she only asked me, okay, doctor, I want to consider the restoration, the prosthetic restoration of the central incisor, and maybe please remove the pontic in my first quadrant in the right area, and please remove the old ceramics, and that's it. And please, if it's possible, put an implant in the first premolar area. Well, if we follow the only indication of the patient, maybe we fail to restore with natural appearance of our restoration both the first quadrant in the 1.4 area with a new implant, and secondly with the left central incisor too. Because first, in the premolar area, we have a great horizontal adhesions. We can easily check this. And if we only plan to put an implant without talking with the patient related to adding some additional GBR procedure in order to restore a natural appearance of the buccal area with the restoring of a new convexity in that area, okay, we failed our mission to be both predictable for aesthetics and function. So at the beginning, she only wanted to be restored for the implant in the first premolar area. So it's like a very simple case if we only take into consideration the treatment of the 1.4 tooth. Okay, we have to remove this low level prosthetic restoration, low level teeth preparation, and after that we open a flap with a combined horizontal and slight vertical adhesions. Okay, this is nothing new for us, nothing new. We need to restore this area with one single implant, and then do a very normal and standard GBR procedure. We close the flap. Nothing new, only to restore the convexity to create some natural appearance of this emergence profile, but nothing new, my friend. And this is the radiographic feature. And if I didn't create a new relationship with this new patient, okay, the game was already done and finished with a normal dentistry treatment. Okay, there is a gap. Okay, we put an implant. We wait for the hard and soft tissue stabilization. Okay, and only that 1.4 area will be treated. And this is the X-ray, the 3D representation of the good orientation of our fixture, but nothing new, my friend, nothing new. This is the situation before something was changing. And what changed? Well, she asked me, what you can do for my smile, doctor? Oh, something changed. Because for the first time, this girl was not considering only a functional treatment. She was wondering something more, something special, something aesthetic. Because she recognized in me and in you, your patient should do the same, should recognize your competence, a good relationship that you create, and especially they need to recognize the passion for treating them. After that, she asked me, okay, let's talk about a new approach. Okay, so she chose me, and at this moment, the way to do diagnosis, treatment plan, and the treatment changed. So I started first shooting the picture of the new clinical situation, and we start considering some not symmetric gingival parabola, maybe something wrong related to the passive, the alterated passive eruption of some teeth that was causing a gummy smile. Was present. Okay, the shape of the crown was not proportioned. And if we want to talk about the whole smile, we need to take in consideration all the gold proportions. And the first thing we need to go for is to take an impression and ask for the dental technician to create a master cast diagnostic dental vaxis. And in this case, we created an additional plastic template reconsidering the new emergence profile of the new crown and the new restorations by considering the periodontal treatment of the alterated passive eruption, by considering as reference the new dental vaxis. And that's it. We create a masterclass, the vaxis, and the template to guide our surgery. Because we diagnose something wrong related to the emergence profile, the right emergence profile, and the physiological emergence profile of our teeth, especially for this left central. I was in doubt if I need to maintain this this route or not, and we agreed with the patient. Okay, we do the periodontal plastic surgery first, and take a look of what happened after the soft tissue maturation. And this is the whole new smile that I program for my patient. And if I shoot this picture to my patient and show her, we can create a team for the treatment of her. We create a team, we can work together. I can talk with my patient so clearly because she knows exactly how she will display her smile. She knows exactly the shape of the crown, the future crown, and the shape of the gingival parabola, right? So we can start creating the new emergence profile, the new gingival parabola architecture. And we have a video time. I hope this could be on. Okay, I skipped together and press together the moments, the focus on of this perioplastic surgery in order to show very shortly some crucial moments of this periodontal plastic surgery. We need to remove the excess of periodontal bone in order to considering the development of the new biological wings, by considering how we want to create the new gingival architecture. And so we need to remove obviously the soft tissues, the exceeding soft tissues, and after that we can create a plastic with the bird in order to create the scalloping and guarantee standard thickness of the periodontal buccal bone periodontal, right? So I need to skip very quickly this video because the time is running out. And this is the situation of our surgery and the suturing and the maturation of the surgery. And this was the end of the first part of this complex case. Complex, why? Complex because it was not only the treatment of the first premolar, the 1.4, but was the treatment of the whole smile from the first molar to the first molar of the second quadrant. Okay, so we provided the recontour of the parabola from the red line to the green line, and to create a new architecture of this. Take a look at the comparison. Okay, we rebuilt completely this situation, and in the first premolar area, we need to consider how to increase the buccal competence of the hard and soft tissue too, in order to create a new convexity in that area. And after that, we can use for the first time a mock-up in order to talk with the patient, in order to create a new relationship, in order to give her to be safe, to feel herself safe, finally, to feel herself beautiful, finally, after so many years. Only a mock-up is a very simple template we can have by considering the dental vaccines as a reference. In this era, in this time, it's very important to give the chance to the patient to recognize in advance the next definitive restoration. It's very important. We need to motivate her, and this live representation of her smile is the best way we can have to reach our goal. And we need to pass from the concave to the convex in this way, in which we have the surgical re-entry, we can considering a new restoration of the buccal convexity. We start taking the impression, the first impression, in order to have the provisional restoration, and we took the impression with of the adjacent teeth in order to create a ceramic crown in the first quadrant area in order to restore the old metal ceramic restoration. And in the other teeth, we need to go with a ceramic veneer, and we need to restore the left central incisor with a post, with ceramic post and a ceramic crown. This is the situation of the implant area after the maturation of the periodontal soft tissues, and we take the chance to improve additionally with an additional soft tissue graft, very simply embedded buccally. So we start with a simple treatment plan of a simple implant, and increase the list of the thing we need to go for with ceramic veneer, with new or ceramic crown, with GBR procedure, periodontal plastic surgery, additional connective tissue graft. Please consider what a different approach between the standard, the complex, and the modern. Take in consideration this. And this is what we can get, a complete restoration of the capacity in this area. And after the impression for this patient, she finally can go home to her husband, showing her new smile, with a simple operation for us, only to fill with soft polymerizing resin the mock-up and use it to create the new provisional waiting for definitive. So simple for us and so effective for the patient. That was starting smiling very naturally from the first to the after situation. Wow. I was so excited waiting for the new restoration. And this is after the maturation of the provisional, and this is the situation before the definitive placement of the crowns and all the passages, the steps for the screwing, the implant supported restoration. And this is the clinical feature of how she can display. But if we compare the initial situation with the only treatment of that first central incisor, maybe, and only for sure the restoration of the first premolar in the right area. And this is how the soft tissue are integrated, and this is the symmetry, the restored symmetry of the convexity for the left and the right sides. A complex and a convex emergence profile was restored in the implant area, just like that, in occlusion view. We can see the restoration, retained restoration crown. After 12 months and after 1 year, the situation is so stable. The situation, the radiographic feature at the baseline and after 1 year, and a particular view of the restore emergence profile, and this how she can display the situation before on your left and after on your right side. So again, and I will quit myself. I want to let the music talk. Let it burn till I see you again. I will be with you, just like I told you. Sorry. This was a story of what we saw in 30 minutes, I suppose. What is the representation of this? Is to think globally to our patient. We need to consider to be modern, with a good treatment plan made with a good data acquirement. We need to take the good pictures. We need to take the good information. Sorry, okay. We need to take the right information from an iconographic point of view. So shoot your picture with a good use of the lights, take the impression in order to create the master cast, create dental vaxes in order to have your ideal representation of the final restoration, and try to create a mock-up in order to discuss with your patient so that the relationship will be good, clear, and productive, effective for the future restoration, clinical restoration, right? And after that, have in your hands the right skills to turn into reality your treatment plan, your ideal treatment plan. So you need to know exactly how to do an implant surgery. You need to know exactly how to shape palatal. your implant in order to create, for example, a screw retain restoration. We need to know exactly which kind of GPR procedure we need to go in order to have a good representation of the convexity, of the buccal convexity of our emergence profile. Because our treatment aim to have not an implant supported restoration and that's it. We need to recreate a good and natural emergence profile. The mimesis of our implant supported restoration is mandatory in our aesthetic area. After that, you need to know exactly which kind of prosthetic restoration you have to go for. You need to consider which kind of ceramic you need to select for that specific case. Because to go for a feldspathic restoration is completely different if we compare to lithium disilicate or zirconia ceramic restoration is a completely different planet. We need to prepare differently the teeth. We need to discuss with the patient which kind of translucency we need to aim for teeth or reconstructions. So only if we have globally in our and in our brain, in our art, this kind of treatment, we can go for the treatment or of our patient within high demanding cases. This is very important for us. I want to summarize such kind of considerations with a short video in order to give you an additional stress of what I talk about in the last 40 minutes. We can go for it. Okay, I want to thank my friend Omid for the kind invitation. I am so available for you for this Q&A session now, because it's very important to share time enough for this kind of considerations. And I'm ready if will be possible to increase this kind of concept with additional cases, always more complex, in which the emotional part and the clinical part of the treatment are going forward together, right? And so with this presentation, I finished with you the lecture, and we can start with the Q&A session. I can probably show my face. I don't know how. Omid,
Okay.
I'm waiting for you, my friend.
Yeah, you can stop share, my friend. Diego, first and foremost, I would like to thank you for this high-tech presentation. Actually, it was like watching a movie, learning a case through a movie, because you presented very
Yeah,
with it's obvious for everyone in the audience that such presentations have took lots of time and efforts and thinking and scenario, where to start, where to end, and how to tell the story of the patient to the audience. And you did it
yeah,
amazingly. You did it amazing. Actually, like, style Italiano. It was 100% Italian. Everything precise, everything
yeah,
beautiful, and I truly enjoyed it. And I really like the concept that one of our dear friends in Portugal, Miguel Stanley, always have the same concept, and he says no half smile, and that's the same thing, because sometimes patients come to us, and as the patient that you presented, and seeking for only one treatment and showing only one tooth, and but if we look at the whole picture, we see that we can treat that tooth, but the final demand of the patient is not solved, and the picture of and small picture of the patient will not be perfect at the end of the day, even if we do the best treatment for that specific tooth that is in demand for the patient in the first visit. But before going through the case that you presented, I would like to know your idea, because we are living in a world that in different countries, different cultures, different people with different financial variety we have. And
yeah,
believe it or not, yeah, and in some countries, even we don't have that kind of insurance that can cover the dental problems of the patients. I mean, 100%. So my question first is, because it's one of the questions that I
yeah,
always ask myself, that, all right, the patient come to me and seeks for a treatment, for example, for the central incisor, so I can make just like a symmetrical treatment, like two central incisors to make them look like each other. But if we want to go to the next level, I mean, like a perfectionist, to think ideally and to bring the patients the best smile possible, definitely it will have more costs. So, what is your suggestion in cases that patient really agree with us? He or she want to have the best smile possible, but financially, maybe they cannot cover the costs. So, what should be our decision-making process
yeah.
in those patients?
I truly appreciate your kind of question of it, because it's a very common question. People ask me after the congresses, and it's funny that this question I receive if I go in South America, in China, in Africa, Australia, in ever I go. So it's a common problem of our patient. How I can support the cost of an additional treatment. Well, we have two chances. First chance is my patient truly, truly has not the chance to go complex, a global approach treatment. Yeah, first chance could happen, my friend. We cannot do anything, but this is not an excuse for us, because in cases, 100 cases like that, only 2, 3, 4, 5 cases, they cannot go for the following of your treatment for really financial problem. The most times it's our fault as professionals that we fail to involve and describe our patient which kind of chances they have if they follow you, if they follow us. Because the fault is ours, because we don't want to spend time to document the case, to data, to shoot the picture, to go for the mock-up, to lose time sharing our patient the chance of the treatment. We need to create together with the patient a team. We need to emote our patient, because if not, if we don't use the emotional component, the emotional part of the story of this treatment, of this trip, we cannot stimulate the patient to tell, okay, it's very more expensive if compared to what I expected, but this doctor showed me the way to change my mind for the rest of my life probably. So sometimes it's an excuse for us to tell immediately, oh, my maybe cannot spend money, because that kind of patient sometimes are the same that they can spend amount of money for the cell phone, the new bags, the new travel, the new holiday, the new. So what is the reason why they spend 3 times more for a new car? Because in that new car, maybe that recognize the quality. So our patient should recognize the quality of our job. At the same way, sometimes our don't have the eye trained to see in advance what they can become. They don't have grow to give them the real eyes, the new eyes, to see them in advance with the new treatment.
Yeah, Diego, but
Sometimes we need to respect. We need to respect.
yeah, actually, I'm 100% agree with you, but the reason I asked the question was this. Some patients, exactly as you said, we should convince them, we should show them that what's the better option for you, as you said, to show them the quality of improvement. But some percentage of the cases, they understand the improvement, they understand the quality, but at the end they cannot afford it. So I just wanna,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that I asked this question, because I agree that we cannot just go and do some cheap treatments for the patients and make the scenario even worse, not better. But exactly the case that you presented, a young lady with the high smile line, the gummy smile, and different level of the margin of the gingiva around the crown, some with recession, some with overgrowth, lots of problem was in that picture. But as you said, for example, the patient came to you for the left central incisor, Now, my question is this. Imagine that this patient was in the category that understands completely how good dentistry can change her life, but in the end, she cannot afford the treatment. I want to talk about this specific case. If you want to try to
Okay.
enhance the result of this specific patient with one central incisor in problem, what will be your plan B? I mean, what will be the treatment options after the ideal one that you presented?
Yeah, for sure. First, first, I need to discuss with the patient. Okay, you cannot afford a complex proposal. Okay, if we focus only on the central incisor, okay, but we need to know in advance. You patient need to know in advance that I will be symmetrical with the adjacent tooth, with the contralateral tooth. Okay, my ceramic will be perfect. Uh, you can recognize the new ceramic. Okay, but please consider that if you take a look more standard with your mirror, probably you risk to be not satisfied. If the deal, the initial deal of what we can do is clear, I don't lose. My patient know exactly what I can do for her. Okay, let's focus ourselves on only the central incisor. For sure, as I told you, not always they can follow you in the complex way. Of course, and I only want to tell you more that probably I am because uh, I work with patients that are referred to me to other colleagues, and they willing by the beginning. Okay, I want to change myself. I am motivated. Please show me the way. But I, I also have to consider the patient that cannot do the complex job. Okay. And so the first the trick and the suggestion I can tell you is okay, be clear for the beginning that you cannot solve probably the aesthetic global expectation of this patient. You can save the symmetry, maybe. Okay, let's talk about symmetry. Only like that. But
Yeah.
it's not aesthetic, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally agree with you. And could you please go back to the first image of the patient because I
Yeah.
just yeah because I wanted to talk about the decision
Uh,
and also a little bit.
okay, let me back. This maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly this case. Yeah, this one is.
Okay.
So, this is really a beautiful educational case because we can talk about every aspect in dentistry on this case.
A huge
So,
amount of things. Yeah.
yeah, so I want to know about the decision making as we see here. For instance, the patient, as you showed, it's a gummy smile patient. So we decide to go
Yeah.
with the crown lengthening procedure and then try to enhance the level of the gingival margins and then go with the restorative approach. And also, on the other hand, we see that the left central incisor seems to be wider comparing to the right central incisor, and even discal has a little diastema
Yeah.
in the area. So my
Yeah. And
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
please go.
So I want to know in such cases when you're deciding to do the crown lengthening procedure, do you use all the time the guides, and do you make I mean customized guide for the patient, or you go with just the periodontal probe or with the gauges like the chew gauge? What is your starting point in decision making for doing the crown lengthening for such patients?
Oh, wow. Very good question. I think that the standard rules, the standard proportion are not our specific patient satisfaction. Because every patient has some facial proportions, and how she is beautiful by respecting some proportion is totally different with other people that need other proportion to be good and to be pleasant. As you so deeply analyzed, if we choose as example this the different horizontal proportion between the two central incisors, right? In this case, we need to play with the crown lengthening and with the acceptation of the patient to create a veneer for the right central incisor in order to play the volume and to store the and distribute much more better the volume, the horizontal spaces. And if we create, I want to show you again what happened with the mock-up. Like that. Okay, in this case, we have a new proportion, and please, the best reference for us is not some golden proportion. Okay, we have to know some reference. Okay, but it's the new dental access, is the new development of proportion of that specific patient. Please don't follow always the rule because we need to follow the rule. We need to use our brain and create the customized new smile for our patient, because they very differently. For them is a very different how they think about a new length of the crown, because for some patients they don't want too much length for the crown, even know exactly that could be the right solution. So it is a balance on how they can be guided by us and how we have to respect their idea of aesthetics. I truly love that cases in which the teeth are not so uh, perfectly symmetrical, but some imperfection are left in order to create some movements of the teeth. But when everything is already planned, okay. If it's casualty, I don't understand this.
Actually, I'm truly agree with you, and I really like the.
I don't know what you think about this.
Yeah, because it's really interesting that because I really wanted to see it again, that you try to bring back the beautiful smile to this patient, but not only by crown lengthening, but also by adding to the incisal edge of the patient, because
Yeah,
it's very important
for sure.
because some dentists work as a group. So they have a periodontist, they have a prosthodontist, they have a restorative dentist.
Huh?
But some people only work in their field of specialty, and it shows that it's very important to have a knowledge in all aspects to guide the patients at the first visit.
Yeah,
So we shouldn't have a
exactly.
tunnel access. We should see it comprehensively to be able to deliver the patient the best treatment plan possible. And you
For
did
sure.
it very beautifully. And I think, as I said at the beginning of the Q&A session, this case has lots to say and lots to talk about in every aspect, from the restorative, from perio, from prostho, even sometimes you can talk about like
Yeah.
so so it was very beautiful. I truly enjoyed the presentation. And you know, this is the one of the
Thank you.
important points that you highlighted. It's very important for every dentist around the world. I think nowadays it's more popular comparing to 10 years ago to be able to document every stage of our treatment, not only to present to the patient, but sometimes
Absolutely.
sometimes we go back on the case and we realize that maybe it was better to do this and I didn't do that, and maybe in the follow-up we see
For sure.
yeah, and we have documents to go back and rely on it.
We learn the documentation of our old cases. We can learn so much from our picture. We can learn so much, and the way in which we use this light, we can
I have the one too.
to some different.
I have the one like you.
Yes, my friend. And we can use the lights in order to highlight a different feature of our crown, soft tissues, and to link myself to your last consideration, is not important that we are the best surgeon in the world, the best prosthodontist, the best periodontist. It's impossible. We cannot do at the best everything, but we have to know exactly what we need to go for. So if I am not a good surgeon, okay, let's call for a good surgeon, because I know exactly what I want from that surgery with my surgeon, okay, right? I need to know exactly what I want. If not, if I don't have in my brain all the showcase in advance, I will fail some steps. And this is not possible actually for complex cases.
Actually, I'm truly agree with you. And Diego, I would like to thank you so much again for your time, for this
It was my pleasure.
concise presentation, and I truly enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure all the audience did, is exactly like me.
My pleasure.
I look forward to see you very soon and for our future collaborations. And just want to say thank you.
I will go immediately to you. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Stay safe.
Bye. See you. You too. And hello to all your colleagues. Bye bye.
Good job. Bye bye.